finalizing editing. Okay, so we're moving from the production stage to the mixing stage. We have a piece of music here we've been working on. The tracks are getting ready for mixing, but there's still a couple things that we need to do. So here's a little bit of the music. So as you can see, we have a gospel choir here. There's our choir singing. And you'll notice what happens is the choir stops singing for the soloist to come in.
One thing for sure is that we will be there.
So notice what happens if we solo these tracks. Okay, so this is basically the sound being picked up by the headphones of the choir members. So they're waiting for their chance to sing. And what this is going to do in our mix is just going to cause muddiness. I mean, that's the same thing that's happening in the drums, but it's being recorded by a microphone, picking it up from headphones that are bleeding. So it's called bleed. And so we're going to get rid of that. So we want to get rid of this whole section right here. So we can just kind of grab this big section and just hit delete. And there we go. And we're going to zoom in and put some little fades here. Actually, we'll delete just a little bit more. Throw some fades in there. Select that. I'm going to hit Command F, and it brings up my fade dialog here in Pro Tools. I can do whatever fade I want, and we'll go over to where we come back in. Take a look at it. Make sure that we're not coming in too early, not coming in too late. Same thing. Hit our fade. And this really isn't that important of a fade. It's just to make sure that there's no pops or clicks or anything like that. And we'll listen to what it sounds like. Okay, so now we go to the end of the song, and we can see that there's, if I can get to the end, there we go at the end. They finished up. Now, one thing we want to do here is listen to the end with them soloed, because there's going to be lots of other things happening, and make sure that nobody starts talking or anything like that.
All right.
So there's a couple little grunts and stuff like that, so we can actually cut most of that out. Make sure that's a good cut.
All right.
Okay, and their echo and reverb in the room is gone by this point, so once again hit Command F. And there we go. They're out. Okay, and if you know, we notice down below this soloist, she just kind of keeps going. So watch this.
All right.
Woo, yeah. Oh. All right, now do we need to do one?
That's my favorite part on songs, is that little banter at the end. So we're going to take all that out. Same kind of thing. Throw a crossfade in there. It doesn't really matter what kind.
All right.
And she's gone. So we can go through and check all the tracks here. Electric guitar. Throw a little fade on there. We can, because we have the Smart Tool in Pro Tools, we can go at the top left or top right corner, do fade in, fade out. I'm going to just jump back to the beginning and check the beginning of these. Okay, so that track's fine. Listen to the choir. Okay, so once again we can hear the bleed in the microphone, so we're gonna chop that out. Throw a little fade in there, and we'll check it. What's this right here? So there's actually the kick drum coming in, so we need to move it over just a little bit further. As you can see, this is important stuff, because these aspects are going to be, these sounds are going to be bleeding through into your other tracks. So maybe you're messing with your kick, and maybe there's a kick hit here that sounds bigger because it's being picked up in the microphones of the choir. But then later on, when the choir comes out, you're wondering why the kick isn't sounding as good as it did right before the choir came in. And that's because you don't have that bleed coming through and adding to your sound, which and overall it's going to make it sound worse. So maybe it might seem like it's adding to the sound, but it's going to cause inconsistency. That's the problem. So anyway, we're going to go and check our tracks and make sure that we're not getting anything cut off at the beginning. Everything starts okay. And then we'll go ahead and scroll over to the end and check the end. And of course, you always want to make sure to leave plenty of time for the cymbals to decay and such. We're just going to throw in a fade there at the end. There, they've got a nice decay before the drummer starts moving around. But as you can see, now we've kind of finalized these all up. Everything's looking good here. And now we can move on to finalizing some of our tracks by consolidating and changing our MIDI into audio.